Yeah. Okay. We got this is on the website. You notice that this one on the left, the building is intact from here down. A third of the building. Where's the other 2/3 of the building? And you see this little thumb sticking up here. It's obviously stuff's, and this other bit going up. And a little bit later, this is the north. That's the south tower. This is the north tower. It's just amazing that people were right down in there in the middle of that thing at that moment when that picture was taken, and they walked out. They didn't have all this tons of debris on top of them, but the stuff is going up with fine dust. Another thing, the tipping top that tips over and then it shrinks up to nothing before the rest goes down. It's kind of interesting. So lots of dust, and here you see this piece of steel falling. It never hits the ground. Just it effervesces into dust on the way down. And then here's ground level before the end of the day, because here's building 7 over here fuming away. But it used to be a tower here and then one over here. This is the north and south walls of Tower 1. The ambulance that was parked in front of Tower 1. Not backed up to the door, but is in front of it on the street. So this is street level. Where's the debris gone? And here's the buildings. A lot of material is gone, up and away. Look at all that. It's just turning to dust. Lots of dust. And more dust. And cars were fuming. And you see of the dust that rolled out, it starts going up, but it came out a certain distance and no further. See, that's green grass there. It's rolled out a certain distance, then went up. It's fascinating. Here it's coming. Oh, you can see the toasted cars there. I mean, prior to being toasted, there they are. They get towed there afterwards, unless they got towed and then towed back to exactly where they were. But so there they are prior to the events happening. And you can see this is the second tower that's rolling out now, because the first tower, which was Tower 2, that rolled up right to here. You can see that dust line. And the second tower goes and comes up to the bridge. And the towers were located about a block apart. So the dust cloud rolls a block further. I thought that was pretty interesting. There's the toasted car lot. Sea of unburned paper. The toasted car lot's over in the distance, and we're right next to building 6. No glass at all in this for the windshield here. None whatsoever.
It
looks like it's sandblasted for a new paint job. I mean, it's so clean. A car fire, you get, the stuff still left around the edges. And, what happened to this engine compartment? It wasn't debris landing on it. It's unburned paper around. Trees aren't burned. There's no scorch marks on the bus either. And there's another dust cloud. It's just, it comes and it passes everybody and keeps on going. People are left covered with dust. They have trouble breathing. They stick their face in their armpit and use their clothing for air filters. But they weren't cooked to death. It wasn't a, quote, pyroclastic cloud. It wasn't that hot. Looking from above, you can see the fumes kind of wafting up, going somewhere. How far up they go? This is what I was looking at before when I decided to go look for a satellite image, because it's going up. It's definitely going up. And this is Quindi oil fires. So it's going horizontally along. It goes up a little bit, but it goes horizontally. And you can see they're going like close to the ground. They're not coming up towards the camera. So that's wafting up. You can see it keeps going gradually up more and more as it leans over. All right, now we're going to go on to the next page and see what else we have. Okay. Oh, this was interesting. This is fuzzy blobs. Here's the fuzzy blob here, right behind the cooler. It's a characteristic until you know what it is. You can't use any name. You can say characteristic 493/2A, but then that's hard to remember. So fuzzy blobs is easy to remember. So that's just a characteristic that I'm name that I'm using. You can see this one down here, and it seems to be messing up with the person who's slumped over down there. This guy got affected by one. He's got a towel around his face, but it's quite interesting. This thing right behind the cooler, you see this hazy blob there. This is one of the most fascinating pictures. Is of all the stuff that's happening in there. This guy holding his nose. Somebody is running over here. There's obviously something bad in the air. It's not just the dust. There's something else going on. Like, why is this guy slumped over? I don't think the dust knocked him over. And you see, pieces of paper and stuff hung around the light poles and in the trees. WTC 6 is right across the street to the right there. It's sort of in the middle of West Street. And this is building 7 over here, still standing, looking healthy. You have these strange looking vehicles here, but there's this mail truck. It's got a fuzzy blob under it, and it looks like something's eaten through the sides of it. Yeah, it's pretty weird looking. There's something going on there. I think the fuzzy blob is something that's active and that's like corrosive or some kind of action where it's attacking the material. And this poor mail truck slumped over, had a bad day.
Yeah, that's a very strange picture. Not only the vehicle, but the paper. Very, very strange about this picture.
Yeah, unburned. I think it's a block over from the post office. It's a block removed from the World Trade Center complex, around the back side of a building. But it's strange patterns in here, and the way it's just slumped over off of its supports. This is West Street, Building 6, the last of the pedestrian crosswalk. They should have a big building sitting here, but it's gone. Tower 1 was supposed to be right in there. And see how the ground is fuming here. You can't say smoke because that's not caused by fire. You don't know what it's caused by. That's why I say fumes. Just something's coming up. A lot of fumes coming up. And this is a few days later. This is West Street. Had some wheat checks laying there. And there's where Tower 1 had been. But see, the ground's just fuming. Why is it fuming? It's fumed. Oh, lots of fumes here. Isn't that wild? That haze.
It is.
And this was a very significant picture for me. You're looking from east to west. There's the Embassy Suites Hotel, the toasted car lots over here. And that's where a lot of this black stuff's coming from. You see the dust cloud rolled out, went past here. And you got blue sky you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So that dust that rolled out here has already settled out of the air. It's coarse dust that landed. But then you look around these guys' feet, they call those fuzz balls. It's fine dust that comes up. If it was that fine, it wouldn't have settled out of the air already. That means coarse dust landed and continued to break down and became fine dust. So that when they kick it, it comes up. And here again, it's that bright green grass. It's incredible. The dust cloud just rolled. This Embassy Suites right here with toasted car lots over there. And this is looking over the water. The dust cloud rolled north and a little bit westward there, but it just did not go further. It just right up to a point and then didn't go further. And then these people, you see these fuzz balls around their feet. That was coarse dust that landed and became fine dust. And then this picture too is, fuzz balls galore. Lots of fuzz balls here. If the dust was that fine, it would not have settled out that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You see the haze over the road. And unburned paper. So it's not smoke that's coming up. It's unburned paper. So this picture, of course, my favorite here with the clock. It shows it's almost quarter after. 10, which means the south tower went poof at 9:59 and some odd seconds. And the north tower hasn't gone poof yet. This is like halfway between the two. And seeing where he's come from, so it's for 15 minutes is after the first tower's gone. And so that fine of dust that's around his feet could not have settled out of the air that fast. Again, in a sea of unburned paper and dust. And see where it's coming up from the streets. You can see it wafting up.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. And over here, you can see this is the postal building, and you can see it wafting up from the ground there. And this is that very interesting picture where, remember in the ones where we've seen steel coming down by the Verizon building? And here's the Verizon building. So we saw steel falling, turning to dust, and it's not down here.
Right.
That's where it was falling towards. It's aluminum cladding piece, but just unburned paper. And this guy has his arms folded, and this guy's hands on his hips. Arms at the sides. Like, where'd the building go? This is WFC2, I think. The one with the dome up above.
Right.
And look at that nice dirt. Now, if you had nice heavy peat dirt and brought it in, that would tend to hold down the dust and tend to soak up whatever's around. But that's fresh dirt right there. Date on this was 9/16. But you see this rolled up carpet? That's what I called it. Where the columns were, the wheat checks. They're the prefab units of 3 columns wide and 3 stories tall, and they had those spandrel belts. The building would be loaded, so these would bend about the horizontal axis, not curl around the vertical axis. But they look curled around the vertical axis. It's pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the psychological effect of having this flag here. From the get-go, we were attacked by an outside party, band together. It it has a psychological effect. But why would they have that dirt there? Think of any other reason other than bringing it in and dumping it. Maybe the ground kept fuming there and they shut up the fuming. So we're going to go to the next page. And there's that picture again. He's looking at something, but interesting, there's dirt inside the cab of the fire truck. Mm-hmm. Or whatever, it sure looks like dirt to me, and all this dirt out here. But also, what's interesting is these windows. There's no other damage to this facade around here, just the windows. And there's double pane windows, and sometimes only one pane is broken. But why are the windows missing, but there's no scratches on the building? So you don't have to jump to any conclusions. It's not like this picture equals whatever. It's about just noticing what's going on. You notice these steel pipes are very rusty. And look at all the dirt kind of, scattered around in there. Mm-hmm. This thing here was on that fountain in the plaza at ground level. It's still at ground level, and it didn't get too clobbered by stuff. It's not flattened by 210-story buildings falling on it. It's still relatively spherical. So it looks like something hit it, but not much compared to where it was right. Considering where it was. And twisted pieces of stuff. There's all this dirt. Look at that dirt in there. Yeah. How many house plants did they have in the buildings? No later than the 13th. And look at all these fumes. Obviously, this isn't from heat. Because look at this guy with the oxy fuel hose. He's going to be cutting some steel beams. And that hose is draped over the ground someplace. And if that, you see some oxy-fuel hose right here, right behind that guy. It goes up there. See, it's green and red, twisted. It comes there and there. It comes up to here. So if that ground was, 2,000 degrees or whatever Rudy Giuliani was saying, those guys would have exploded along with their oxy-fuel tank. So that fume is not from fire, not from, it wasn't high heat. You wouldn't, that would be suicidal to drape an oxygen hose over the ground. Some more picked up stuff. Now here's the pedestrian walkway. Why is it full of dirt? This further away, but closer up, is full of dirt. And look at that nice fuming off that wall. There's something going on there that, that was dated the 11th there. There's one from dated the 16th. You can see this little corner of building 3. That's all that's left. When George Bush went to visit the site, it was raining. And that was on Friday, the 14th. That was the backside of Hurricane Aaron.
Yeah.
Lots of rain fell from that. Okay, here we have some more fumes coming up. And as for, high heat on the ground, look at this dog. They're, supposed to be looking for survivors or dead bodies. I think it's the same dogs that run around the site, but there's no reports of burnt feet on dogs. And I think that's a pretty good indication. They're riding around right there on the ground or on the metal. It's wrinkled up. It's interesting how it's wrinkled in there, these columns. But here's dump trucks coming going now. This is the one you see 4 with the yellow cab. They're full. They're going south on West Street towards the WTC complex, and they're full. It looks like they have dirt in them. Something smooth, it's. And then here's dump trucks going out. This looks like it's full of dirt. This has stuff mixed, but this one's smooth, full of dirt. And same with some other ones. That goes through a check station where they weigh them, and then they put this tarp over them, and they drive on out. So here we have dirt trucks. The dirt goes in, the dirt goes out. Here's a close-up shot of the dirt coming in. See, somebody standing on the street wouldn't see it. And here's from a satellite image, or high up shot. You can see the tire tracks being left by this truck. Notice that they hose down the truck, and as it's driving away, it's dribbling water out. So it's leaving this path behind it. Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? This WFC2. FC1, I think. FC1. But all of the marble facade is gone. But there's no scars to the facade of the building. No gash marks. And as I calculate, if you dustify everything inside the building and have to shoot out the windows in order to mash the building to the ground, it would have to be shooting out, at an average speed of 1.5 Machs by the time it gets towards the ground, or if it's for it to go away at the rate it went away, or if it's coming from the center, it's like Mach 2.5. It's got to be shooting out, and at that rate, you should have pock marks all over the adjacent buildings. There's no pock marks. The windows are damaged, but there's no pock marks on the. You can't say it just had that perfect aim. Like there's no pock marks in this facade of the building. But something got all of the marble facade and most of the windows, but they're double pane. You see some of them just have one pane missing. Okay, here's another picture of this building after the vehicles have been removed. But you see, like this one has one pane gone and the other pane intact. But why? How do you get something hitting a window and knocking out just one pane? And not just cracking the window, but bashing it sufficiently so that there's not much left of it. You wouldn't have that. And some of these other holes, look at that little tiny hole in there, like somebody, like the windows were plastic and somebody took a soldering iron, stuck it in there and melted a hole in it. It looks weird. And the windows are kind of discolored. So you can't just jump to the answer, quote, the answer, based on one piece of evidence. Your result is inversely proportional to the amount of evidence you ignore. So if you ignore lots of evidence, your answer is worthless. Yeah, and it's turned to dirt.
This is another thing that people don't recognize sometimes. They don't realize that there's a phone ringing. But
yeah, let's see if I need to answer the phone, okay?